Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Discover New Music podcast from us at Pelt Music. Shortly, we'll be joined by CARSICK, who we recently featured over on our Discover New Music playlist on Spotify with their single Anaconda Frank. But before then, the usual reminders from myself. If you would, please do follow Pelt on social media. We're on Facebook at Pelt and on Twitter and Instagram at Pelt Music. And again, if you would, please do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, whatever you're watching or listening. Welcome then to CARSICK, to the Discover New Music podcast. Absolutely delighted to have you on today. We've got Joe and Jack from the band. We've touched on it just before we hit record. Obviously, it's really, really hot today. So how are you guys handling the heat?
Yeah, God, just trying to stay in the shade. Lots of fluids.
Lots of shade bathing, man.
Yeah, lots of beer.
Can't stand the heat, mate.
Yeah, no, I'm not good for it. I'm not good for it at all. I'm a winter kind of guy.
Yeah,
I'm definitely with you on that one. Yeah, I'm just sat here trying not to melt. But the one thing that's obviously got me a bit excited is to chat to you guys, because we featured your single Anaconda Frank over on our playlist, hence getting you on the accompanying podcast for it. And obviously really enjoyed everything we've heard from you so far. And it's an exciting time for the band because you've got your debut EP coming out, which we're going to talk about. But we always start the Discover New Music podcast with the same segment, as it were. We call it the origin story. So being the Discover New Music podcast, hopefully there'll be some people that may discover the band by checking this podcast out. So for those people unfamiliar with CARSICK, what is the origin story for the band? How did you come together?
Well, I suppose most of us met in college. Obviously, me and Jack have known each other for pretty much forever, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah.
I was friends with Jack. He's like my best mate. I lived with him in Bristol for a few years. He joined the band, and then Tom I went to college with, our drummer. So we'd known each other for ages. We'd played together a few times, and then we all kind of just came together and started writing songs. But kind of just it almost happened by accident. Like, we were kind of just writing, and we thought, oh, these are some really funny lyrics or some really funny songs. And then we were like, let's go record them. And then we were like, oh shit, I think we started a band. Oh, cool.
Oh yeah, no, fantastic. And quite often that's the best way to get started, is just by accident. And obviously the fruits of the labour so far have been really well received from what I can tell. Certainly Anaconda Frank, we'll start off with the single, obviously, that we featured on our playlist, and yeah, really enjoyed it, stuck it on the playlist. So for listeners that have listened to that track, we always just like to give a bit of a background to the song. So what can you tell us about the single? How did it come about, and what are the themes of the song?
It kind of, well, my brother wrote the instrumental for it, and we were trying to write a song that sort of like meandered away from what we usually write about, which is like drinking culture. That's kind of our demographic. That's kind of what we always sort of go to. But yeah, this time we sort of wrote it about, I mean, Anaconda Frank is someone we know in Salisbury. So I mean, if he's the song, it's kind of a diss. But yeah, we sort of like, we always approach it that way. Joe will have an instrumental, and then we both touch heads, write some lyrics on it, and yeah, that's it really.
Yeah. Just kind of trying to think of a catchy hook.
Yeah.
Well, it is a proper banger, as the kids would say these days. And one that I think would go down really well live. We will talk about obviously some good live stuff coming up for the band soon. But before we move on from the single, I always like to throw a bit of a spotlight on the video for whatever single we've put out. Considering there is a video, like often these days people don't even bother making an actual video for a song. It's a bit of a lost art form, isn't it? But back in the day, I used to sit and watch music TV, religiously, whereas you don't have that now. But listeners can obviously check out the video on YouTube, and that's where we all go for our on-demand videos these days. So what can you tell us about the video? Concept-wise, how did you decide to make that, and how did you pull it off?
Sure. Well, we did, like, with the video, it's kind of like you say, videos it's kind of something we thought of last, where we were like, oh, we made the songs and the songs are out, and then we were like, oh, what about a video? And I was like, the video? Like, oh yeah, I suppose we do need to make it. And we had an idea of kind of getting everybody in a room and professionally recording something, and everything was set and it was all going to plan, and we had like almost like a casting call, but we were just saying, if you're a fan of the song or the band or just live music in general, turn up. We're going to play the song live. to like a click, and then dub it over with the actual song, but just go crazy, because obviously a lot of our shows there's a lot of energy anyway. So we thought, that's a great way to shoot the video. All ready to go day before Jack gets COVID. So I opted to just say to CGI, I'm in. I know we don't have the funds for that. So we cancelled that idea, and then we decided to just go on a string of nights out. I think it was over about 2 or 3 weeks, and we just took Jack, our other Jack, our bassist, his old family holiday camera. Basically we just didn't stop filming. We pressed record, and then 6 hours later when we got home, we pressed stop. We captured a lot of strange things. A lot of it obviously didn't make it in, but we got some, and then we slammed it all together, and then we got the video out of it, and we had a lot of fun making it. But the process is so much I don't remember.
Yeah, no, it was fun because none of it was set up or staged. It was kind of just we went on a night out and just started filming, and then that's what
we just happened to be singing the lyrics.
Yeah, as you always do on a night out, definitely.
We got more progressively drunk, and I'd be like, Joe, sing the words to this. That's not our song, man. But yeah.
Well, I'm glad you both used the word fun to describe it, because that's exactly what I thought watching it. I thought, it's a really fun video to watch, but I instantly just thought, well, these guys have had so much fun making this video. And it comes across.
Yeah, for sure. It was a really good time making that music video. It has a special place in my heart.
Yeah, as it should, definitely. And I'm sure in the years to come, your debut EP is going to have a special place in your heart, because obviously putting out a collection of songs at any point in your career is going to be special, but there's always something about that first sort of big release, as it were. And obviously Drunk Hymns is the title of your debut EP, out on the 30th of June. Obviously listeners definitely need to check out that EP, have a listen and see what the band is all about. So for people that are perhaps somehow stumbled on this podcast first and not listened to it yet, before they hit play, what would you say they should expect from that EP?
God. Well, I mean, it's kind of, there's so much into it. We spent so long perfecting those 4 songs. And it kind of, I know this is like a real cliche thing that I feel like a lot of bands say when they're promoting new music. They say it as our heaviest song and our slowest song, but it genuinely does. So we kind of, there's, the track like Anaconda Frank, where we kind of just go like full ham on the instrumentation, and we have like a lot of energy. And the closing track is by far the slowest, but like it's just guitar and vocal. It's like super low and sad, which is, we'd never even come close to that before. So there's a super big range, and it doesn't, I think it's only like a 15 to 20 minute run time. So we try and just cover as much emotion as we can. We try and make you want to punch a zebra in the face and cry by the end of it.
Well, that would be a good night out.
But so like you say, first release is something that's super important to us, to make sure it is just perfect. And I feel like everything down from the production to the artwork is like something that we've left no stone unturned with it at all, to make sure it's something that's like a physical, like actual collection we're like super proud of. So I'm really excited for people to hear it.
Yeah, and they should be excited to press play. I've had a sneak peek of it already, and it's really, really good like introduction to the band, and like you say, cover a lot of bases in such a short period of time. And obviously debut EP again, it is quite a big thing to be putting out. So they touched a bit on obviously the recording there. How did you get through that recording process? Did you enjoy it, or because quite often there is a lot of pressure at that point to try and get things right? So what was your experience?
I think like the guys we work with at Studio 91, they're quite they obviously take it super seriously, but they're like us. They like have fun with it, so it's kind of like messing around, trial and error with different things in the studio. But they're they're really good guys, so it kind of makes the whole process fun. We bounce off each other that way, so there was I don't think personally there was any stress with recording.
No, not really. I mean, I always find that for me, it's going in and recording is like really exciting. For me, it's like the instrumentation is like great, and you kind of have a laugh. And especially at Studio 91, Sam and Tom, who record with the great guys, really make you feel at home. Just get a quick plug in there for Studio 91. Yeah, really great guys. And I think for me, the only bit that I ever find stressful is recording vocal, because I'm so precise, and it's like, 20 takes later and I'm like, maybe change the lyrics.
Yeah, we'll book 4 days in the studio and 3 of them are just joking.
Just me,
Trying to redo it. Like.
Strictly have to have orange, like M&Ms. And don't even know orange. I don't even know what they do.
It's got weird rituals.
yeah. But coming out of that, I think recording that EP was the best experience that I've had in the studio. There's always like a pressure, like you say. I think for me, it's make sure you're always kind of one up in yourself, in everything that you do. And I feel like, and I'm not trying to sell the EP, but I feel like we did.
Yeah. I mean, I will always try and sell it for you, and you certainly did. Yeah. So, listeners, I definitely implore you to check it out. Obviously, wherever you choose to do so these days. And yeah, it's always like, it's great to hear that you did enjoy recording it, because there is quite often pressures these days. Like the business side can take over the industry, but it's always about having fun, and you're in this industry to enjoy yourself, realistically, hopefully. And yeah, once you've got that physical, music that you can put out there, the best part for me is then to be able to go out and play shows and take that music to the fans. So moving across to the live side, you've just announced recently a really good headline UK tour. You're not just hitting up like London, Manchester, Birmingham, Glasgow. Yeah, you're proper taking the music out to the people. 20 odd dates in some great towns and great music venues. So how excited are you to be able to get out and play these shows, and what have you got planned for them?
Oh, super excited.
Yeah.
That's really sarcastic.
I'm super excited.
No, I am. I'm really excited. I'm excited to go, because a lot of the places I haven't even been before. So I'm really excited to just get out, see what there is, and obviously playing shows, actually playing these new songs live.
Yeah.
And like I feel like it's a good chance for us to really get out, like I say, to places we haven't been, and potentially make new fans and meet new people. And it's the tour starts on my 24th birthday as well, so that would be fun.
Yeah.
We're gonna be hungover for the majority of it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it a lot.
I'm excited because I think like with this EP, the way we approached it was we were more aware of like how we play it live. So not that we wrote it just for live shows, but we were more aware with these 4 songs. So I'm excited to see how that transposes into like live shows. Would be really cool. But yeah, because some of the songs we'll be playing on this tour we've like not played before. So yeah, it'll be cool. Yeah, I'm excited for it. It'll be really good.
I don't know how we're going to put up with each other. I mean, we did London to Ipswich 2 weekends ago, and I mean by the end of it the playlist was the playlist was on like some shuffle radio thing. At one point I went to the audio of The Hobbit, like the audio book, which wasn't well received, and nobody spoke to me for about an hour and a half. So I think headphones and books. Which I'm sure most veteran experienced bands would be able to say. But yeah, I am looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be an experience for sure to get out and be together for that long, and hopefully you can survive it. And interesting, actually, you mentioned Ipswich, because that's my nearest civilization, if you can call Ipswich civilized. I don't think you really can, to be fair. But was that a festival, Brighton the Corners?
Yeah.
See, I was away. I think that maybe was the same weekend as Download, and I was at Download, because obviously I normally would have been all over something like that, but couldn't go. And I saw yourself and a few other bands I would have liked to have checked out on there. Ipswich is a bit rubbish really for music. To be honest, there's some great people that are trying to set up some new venues, and obviously part of that festival. So hopefully, the future's going to be brighter for Ipswich. So yeah, being sort of selfish and local, just what were your experiences of playing at that festival?
Oh man, I really liked it. We didn't really
fun.
know what to expect. Like, we'd never been to Ipswich, but we showed up and we were expecting with this festival and the slot we were in, I thought it would be like 10 people, but they are like full capacity in there.
And they will come.
Yeah, there was a band called Cowboy that were on just before us that were really sick. Like, we had a really good time.
Yeah, they were good. It's like one of those great experiences where a band plays before you, but they're way better.
Way more technical. I was watching you play guitar, like, oh, that's how it's done.
That's how you play guitar, yeah. and we stumbled on stage, slooped the Priven.
Yeah.
But it was
Absolutely.
really fun, and
Yeah.
and there's some really nice pubs in Ipswich as well. And some, yeah, it was a good time. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, lovely people, lovely promoters. Everyone was really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really nice to hear. And say again, selfishly as a local, I really hope that festival can take off and we can get some better venues up and running and get a constant churn of bands coming through would be nice, because I have to travel quite far when I want to go and watch my music, which is quite often. So no, really interesting, and sort of feeds into my next question. Like, obviously the list of tour dates that you're going to be playing will be available for listeners. You can click through links in the bio to go and find them. We'll do your social handles now, actually, while I think of it. We always like to give out the social handles every podcast, so listeners know where to check you out. And you have made my life so easy. It's the same one across everywhere. So it's CARSICK Official, wherever you'd like to do your social mediaing, which is really nice. Because quite often I have to sit here and go, well, there's an underscore there, and if you miss out the I and all of this kind of stuff. So thank you for that.
Okay, that's okay. That's the only thing that, I mean, it was more for us to remember when.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. So listeners, obviously CARSICK Official, follow the band to stay up to date of everything, and you'll be able to find obviously the tour dates on there as well. So hopefully you can find a venue near to you that you can come down and go to a show for. Obviously there's like some great grassroots venues on there. Just off the top of my head, one of my favourites is the Horn in St Albans. You're playing there, and I think there's the 66 Bar in Cambridge. So venues that I do try and frequent when I can on there, and some other names that I really want to check out of great venues that I've heard of. So as a new band trying to grow your audience, get out into the world, I just want to put a spotlight on the venues and just say, for you, how important are venues like that to helping you build your career?
I think any band or someone like yourself who goes to gigs a lot understands how important that small venues are, and I think it's so important for people to attend venues and gigs and stuff, and buy drinks at the bar and just support local venues like that. I think I finding new venues, like especially on this tour, there's just so many of them that I'm really that I haven't been to before, that I'm super excited to see. And there's always just so much passion for music and live music, obviously, with the people that work there, and it's always just such a great community.
Yeah, because a lot of the venues we're playing, it's kind of like joiners is to us, in them local communities, it's kind of like a social hub. Some people will just go to venues like the Lexington in London, just even though they don't know who's on, but just because it's that sort of hub, which is really cool.
That's great.
Which we're buzzing for, because there's a lot of them on that list, that are really famous venues to us, and you're we've heard of them, and really excited to play them, because
it's always and I always love going to see the different toilets in different venues. We always have a list.
You have a running blog, we'll put it all together.
So I'd be interested in that. I would read that, definitely. It's funny, Colchester Arts Centre, if you ever get a chance to go there, independent venue, deconsecrated old church that is obviously been converted into a music venue. Best toilets of any music venue. They did them up during the pandemic, and I went in and it's just whoa, space age, this is so cool. So definitely try and get there.
I think God, I don't know why, but I think the loft toilets, and I know they're not the craziest.
Oh, in Southampton.
But they have a real special place in my heart there.
Yeah, those are probably up there, one of the coolest toilets.
It's just I don't know. I think it's just a me thing.
Yeah. You load in and it's a
lot of great experiences.
I do think it probably is just a you thing, because I think in almost 100 podcasts that I've done, it's the first time we've talked about the venue's toilets, which is fantastic. It kind of fits, to be fair, to the next question, because I was just going to touch on obviously festivals, and obviously we all love festival toilets, don't we? Yeah. But the one in particular I was going to highlight is you've got 2000 Trees coming up, which I'm going to be at. I've got my Clash Finder set. I'm going to be down checking you guys out. Absolutely. So yeah, how excited are you to be playing? You're playing the Thursday, which is the first full day of music. So obviously the fans hopefully will be really, really excited at that point still, and not too taken out by the sun. So yeah, how excited are you to be playing 2000 Trees?
Buzzing, yeah, really
yeah,
buzzing.
I can't wait. I'm absolutely gassed to actually. I've never been before, and it's one of those festivals that every year I'm always like, I really, really, really want to go to that, but I'm always skinned.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, really excited to go. And the lineup's so great. There's so many great bands playing this year. Finally get to see Joyce Manor, Skindred. Really excited for that. And Soft Play,
American football,
man.
Yeah,
Military Gun. Actually, Military Gun are clashing
with who?
Joyce Manor.
That's the one thing I think about this year's 2000 Trees is the clashes are savage.
They're pretty brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm Soft Play as well coming back. That's really exciting. I'm very looking forward to that. So yeah,
it's going to be a great weekend. But as you say, the clashes. But every 2000 Trees is always so stacked lineup wise that they're. Every year there is just so many clashes, but as a music fan, the stages are so close together, and you can just dart between the stages and catch so much music. Yeah, it's pretty compact for a festival of its size. So yeah, no, it's going to be a great weekend, and look forward to obviously catching you there. And last portion of the podcast we always do is something we call set list science. So obviously you got your sort of big headline tour coming up, so you may already be thinking about set list for that. And obviously when you got an appearance at a festival like 2000 Trees, a lot of bands might think, well, what are we going to do at that festival, like if you've got a big slot. I'm a set list geek, and I always like to just ask this question. So how much attention do you pay to the structure of your set lists, and have you got any rules that you tend to follow?
Yeah,
I guess maybe like the start of the set. Usually there's like the same two songs we usually start with, just because they have that sort of like build up of energy to get the crowd going, sort of thing. But other than that, it's kind of free game, really. We'll just chop and change it. If we've been doing like a similar set for too long, then we'll switch it up a bit. But
yeah, I think a lot of it is always big open, and then we try and always keep the energy up. But for example, like the new slow song on the EP, we have to fit that in somewhere. So we kind of put that between two songs where we always try and get the crowd going. So crowd engagement is always such a big part of that, like when to give the audience a break. Oh, look, the dog's here.
Special guest.
Yeah, so there's always a big thing for us of like when to give the audience a break and when to get them going again, and it's always balancing the song, like the set list with like the participation with the audience. And sometimes one will change the other. Like if we notice the crowd's like super into it, then we'll be like, okay, let's just do this song instead. There's lots of things like that. And I always try and fit a cover of Complicated by Avril Lavigne in as well. So,
nice.
Stopping every time.
Yeah, no, I always
cut
go
it from the set, and then I'll hear the first two chords. I look over and I'm like, please, bro.
Yeah. The best thing is when I try and blend it from like even if I have to change the key from the end of the song.
Yeah.
And then I'll sneak it in.
In the most
brilliant.
The most twisted way possible.
But I bet the fans love it. They'll probably go mad for it.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. It's always great. So I'm always adamant on getting that in there.
We'll have to do it at Trees. Sorry, I've just shut my dog up a second.
Bless him. No, he's all right.
There we go.
Perfect. So adding to the question recently, I've been asking a follow-up question on the setlist science because there's been a bit of a debate after a meme came out quite a while ago now about adults playing peekaboo. So the simple question is encores, and obviously you've got a headline tour coming up, so it's something you might want to consider for that. Encores, yes or no?
Man,
we've finally got enough songs to do one now.
I don't know. Like, there's always. I think it depends on the caliber of the band, the size. Because, if a band's like really big, like if you go and see Guns N' Roses and then they don't play "Sweet Child of Mine," you're gonna be like, well, they're gonna come back on it. She's back. It just seems a little bit daft, but I don't know. She's interrupting me because she doesn't like my answer. She's a fan of encores.
She is definitely.
But yeah, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no on encores, but I can see why. I
Yeah.
can see why people like it.
Yeah, I think the problem nowadays is they're predictable. Like you said, if Guns N' Roses haven't played Sweet Child of Mine, then you know it's coming, and it's almost like going
Yeah,
through the motions of, oh, they're just going to walk off, stand there for 30 seconds, and come back on. Like, actually,
I
just
think
get on with it.
that's the challenge of it, because if you know the band well enough, you know it's predictable. If you don't know the band well enough, then it seems a bit odd if they come back on.
Yeah, I'd say no personally.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say no, and then I really hope that this bit is like screen recorded, and then when we do it in the future, and then like edit them together, that would be great.
You'd be like, they're fakes.
Excellent. Yeah, no, it's, interesting to start asking that question, because people have sort of different thoughts on it, and it is something that's come to the fore a bit recently. And obviously, big decision, headline tour coming up, so you'll have to decide what you're going to do for that. And obviously, listeners, pick up a ticket if you can. It is a tough environment out there for everyone, cost of living crisis, but the music industry is still trying to recover from COVID, and there's other factors. I mean, we won't even mention Brexit or anything like that, but there's a lot of issues compounding, especially the grassroots of the music industry. So listeners, if you can pick up a ticket and go along to a show, please do. And obviously check out the debut EP, Drunk Hymns, that is out on June 30th from the band. And obviously, just follow across social media, stay up to date, everything coming from CARSICK. Last message, I always just chuck back to you guys and say, what would be your final message for the listeners today?
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Don't stop listening and then freeze.
Yeah, excellent. I mean, that's a good final message for me. I love it. Yeah, definitely. Some people like to go really deep and meaningful on it, but no.
What was that thing you said the thoughts you're thinking? That the thoughts you're thinking are the wrong.
No, the thoughts you're thinking are only thoughts if you think them. No.
Something like
it was quite deep, man.
Yeah.
There's a t-shirt in there.
That's our next March.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. It's been lovely chatting with you both, and obviously hopefully you won't suffer too much, because I'm sure it's going to keep getting hotter and hotter for the rest of the day. But yeah, thank you obviously for joining us on the podcast.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for listening. I really do hope you enjoyed that chat there with CARSICK. Please do make sure you check out their debut EP, Drunk Hymns, and of course follow the band across social media to stay up to date with everything coming from them. You can also stay up to date with Full Pelt. We are on Facebook at Full Pelt, and on Twitter and Instagram at Full Pelt Music. And finally, if you would, please do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button wherever you're watching or listening, because we will be back very soon with another episode of the Discover New Music podcast.